Okay. Well, thanks for joining me, Miss Kelly, for a one-on-one interview and to get you in Windy City Times and promote your upcoming appearance.
Fantastic. Now, are you from the South calling me Miss Kelly like that?
I am, well, guess what? I was born in Oklahoma City,
Get out. Because when
and
people say Miss Kelly, I say, oh, that's home. That's home.
I grew up in Tennessee,
Okay.
and my family have family in Tulsa, and
Me
Oklahoma.
too.
Yeah, you were born there, right?
I was
Oklahoma.
I was born and raised in Oklahoma, but all over. Born Tulsa, lived there, moved back to where my whole family's from, which is Elk City, all the way on the west side. And then we moved when I was in high school to Edmond, near Oklahoma City, because of my dad's work. So I'm all over the Oklahoma City, but I also have family in Marianna, Arkansas, which is right by Memphis.
It is. We would drive through Arkansas to go to Tennessee and back and forth.
Yep.
Relatives. And Kristen Chenoweth is also from Oklahoma and adopted like me. So I loved her.
Yes, she and I both went to Oklahoma City University at different times, but we had the same voice teacher, and then she was pretty instrumental in the beginning of my career
Yeah.
because she helped me get an agent and stuff. Yeah.
Did you see the movie Wicked?
Well, have I been under a rock? Well, of course I did, and I thought it was absolutely stunning. Just stunning. I really did. I loved it.
Uh-huh. Well, you've had such an illustrious career. Where do you keep that Tony Award? Where do you keep it in your house?
I just keep it on a little shelf in a one of the rooms in my house. But I
Mhm.
always when people ask that question, I always talk about I think it was Kate Winslet who just made me laugh. She keeps one of her Oscars in or it used to in her powder bath because she likes to imagine that every guest comes over and can't help it but to pick it up and look in the mirror and give a little speech.
I love that. Oh my God.
So once I have a nicer powder bath, I might think about doing that. But for now, it's just on a shelf with some of my other really special things.
Yeah, you just got an award in Chicago this
That's
year.
right. That's right. Sarah Siddon Society, which was it was a beautiful event and so generous of them. It was the day after the elect. It was the night or the day after the election in
Mm.
November. So it was a shared space of artistic hope and love. And so it ended up being just one of the most it was sort of a balm and it was a nice night and they were just so lovely and they did one of those your here's your life kind of thing with these performers who did songs from everything and it just I was just weeping the whole time.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that being emotional. Has there been one person that really just changed the trajectory of your life? Was it that voice teacher in Oklahoma, or was?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I could name so many people who had a huge influence on me, but she mostly because I learned about her when I was five, and then I knew that she taught at Oklahoma City University, and so when it came time to pick colleges, even if I thought of others, I just had it in the back of my head that I was going to go to her, and she was one of my greatest, not just acting and singing mentors, but my life coaches, you know, at that time.
So, this upcoming Steppenwolf appearance, do you tell me what kind of stories are you planning, or do you have kind of ones you like to tell like that?
Oh, I definitely do, but it's interesting that you asked about her because back in the fall, I mean, I've done these shows, different takes on this show, and I change the songs and I make, but I have my mainstays, of course. And but in the fall, my music director and I did a show at the 92nd Street Y that I decided to title "Thank You, Ladies." And I really just took a bunch of my favorite songs or very specific chosen songs and dedicated them each to a woman in my life, or my daughter. I mean, didn't have to be a grown woman, but a female who has inspired me over my whole life. And it's everybody from very personal people to professional mentors of mine. And it made for such a personal show to me that I think we're going to do a version of that in Chicago, um, adding in a few new things and I just tell my stories. I tell my stories about those influences and how they impacted me through my personal and professional life and led me here.
Nice. I love that. And how do you decide the songs other than that? Like, do you have one that you just have to do every time that? People like,
Well, I tend to, in the beginning of my career, I always, funnily enough, I love doing solo concerts. I always have, telling stories, and I always pull from very personal things. I'll put a country song in there, and I'll put an original song in there, and but then I would say, oh well, I need to sing something from South Pacific or Light in the Piazza. Or King and I. And then I started over the years. Sometimes I have very specific ones from those shows, and then sometimes I sing a song from those shows that I didn't get to sing, but that I represent the show and talk about the show itself or a particular story. And so, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I remember when I was working with Harry Connick and his manager said, just sing, it had to be you, and then you can sing whatever you want. But you have to do, you have to do what the audience knows you for, and then you can let them know another side of you. And so what I do is I sort of go like this. One for you, one for me, one for you, one for me. Um, but I also sing like I'll never just sing what I want to sing. They're always what I want to sing, but I'll always think about my audience and what my audience might need to hear that night. I'll sometimes I'll change the set list that day depending on what the world feels like because I think it's service, I think we're coming together for a shared moment that we might need and that we can escape to for 2 hours or 90 minutes or 80 minutes. And if I don't fulfill that service to myself or to you, then I really am not doing my job. So I just love the feeling of some sort of shared emotional experience. And so I try hard to create that.
oh my gosh, I'm excited about coming to see you.
Oh,
Um,
good.
and then, had you worked with Dan Lipton before this?
Dan has been my music director for 23 years.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
We were babies together, brand new babies. We worked out of town on Light in the Piazza when we were in Chicago. When we were in Chicago, actually, Dan and I started in Chicago together. So we'll probably have to talk about that a little bit. But we've traveled the world together and made my shows together, and he does many of my arrangements. And um, so yeah, no, we're pretty tight.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine after all that time. And it's so important to have somebody that you can trust and be comfortable with, and then you can relax in front of an audience, I'm sure. You
Oh,
know.
it's actually, well, yeah. And of course, it's like a weird marriage at this point. I mean, we're both married separately, but
Uh-huh.
where we just get on each other's nerves. I definitely razz him during the show because he's very dry. And it's my life's work to try to get him to chuckle. So sometimes I call him out on the stage and have the audience give me a hand, to try to
Oh,
get him
yeah.
a rise
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah. Is there one musical that you want to do that you have not done yet?
When I'm asked that question, it's a great question, and I think a lot of people do have that one that either got away or is still in looming. But I will always, I feel like we're changing the way we tell stories, and especially as I get older, it's like, how do I want to reinvent the way a woman my age feels? We've never really been allowed to, um, I don't know, research and go inside uh, more feminine driven stories as older women. And so I'm waiting for the next one to be written. I can't wait. And I've got lots of ideas and I'm having constant meetings about such things. There's any Sondheim is a beautiful, worthwhile trip.
Mhm.
Um, but a lot of the women of a certain age tell a similar story, and they are stories of pain. They can be stories of joy or stories of bitterness or stories of lesson. And those are all wonderful, but I'm just wondering what else we have to say. As I get older, I just have a lot of things on my mind.
Yeah, same way. It's interesting you bring that up because I think about Nicole Kidman, who is like, I'm only going to work with female directors for at
Yeah,
least a long time, and it's important to, take care of each other and lift each other up. I think that's great.
yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm open to anyone who's sort of a open-minded, supportive collaborator,
Yeah.
but I love the fact that I would love to only work with people who value if you're telling a female story, I want the value of the female voice in the room to be heard, to be respected. And so any collaborator in that way is welcome to me.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. So how have like how has the LGBT community been a part of your career? Has there been a project that stood out or a friend or something that you could talk about?
Oh, sure. I mean, I feel like so much of what I do just really involves that. I mean, well, I go way back to, doing one of my first Carnegie Hall appearances was with the Gay Men's Chorus and just, d being in the center of all that action and doing a whole Christmas show and how much fun that was for me. But I just finished doing Finn, the new musical that was banned from the Kennedy Center, the first thing that was canceled. We for Stars in the House with Seth Rudetsky and James Wesley, we just put the show on and did a one night fundraiser for that and for the Trevor Project, just to shine a light on that sweet story, which has nothing to do, says nothing just about a sparkly foot fish, about a shark wanting to be a sparkly fish. And it was a beautiful children's story, but just the room was filled with we had Nina West reading the story, opening the whole show as if it was a brunch story for a children's book, and then us going into and Andrew Reynolds singing the main part, and um, that room was just filled with so much love and acceptance, um, and I feel like the joy that I get and the comfort I have, as some people would say, I feel way more safe with my gay friends than I would ever feel with a straight man sometimes, as far as all of that is concerned, bathrooms, whatever's going on in our world right now. All I want is love and acceptance and um, to get out of the way of what each individual deems their best life,
Mhm.
but if I can get up underneath it and hold it and support it, I'll do that too. And I feel like I have opportunities for that all the time through the stories we tell, um, through the charities that we engage in, that we put our time into. And so I'll always be involved in things like that if and when I can.
I love that. I want to see this Finn musical. Like, when is that coming to Chicago?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, I think you can watch it. They streamed it, and then I think maybe I don't know if it's still available on YouTube, but it was
Mhm.
a star-studded cast. Michael Urie came out and did a 2 second steal of the show playing a puffer fish. And it was just so fun. And we had the original cast on stage with us, singing and dancing their hearts out, and the audience just went crazy. And we were just holding it up to say, look at this beautiful piece of art that is hurting no one, and but maybe actually changing the lives of some, in a positive way. So I don't know if it's out, but I think the idea is to have it live on in other ways now if it can't start at the Kennedy Center.
Okay, I hope it does. Another gay man, Claiborne Elder, said how great you were.
Oh, I love Clay. I love him.
Yeah. How's it? So you're doing what is that series? It's season three now, or
Yeah,
yeah.
we finished season 3 and it'll be coming out in the summer. And, it's just the most wonderful group of people. It really is. It's the most hardworking, theatrically based actors. And so and we got to start it during the pandemic when we thought we had nothing. And I will always think of that job with such gratitude, not only artistically, but really just personally, because it lifted us all up out of a real fear. And we stuck together like this, and so the third season will come out, and we don't know. We'll see if there's a fourth season, but there may not be.
Okay. And then you've got some project. Talk about projects coming up that you have coming up.
Okay, well, I just come from Dallas 2 days ago, where Sutton and I do a duo show based on the Carol Burnett, Julie Andrews specials back in the day. And so we put one together for Carnegie Hall last year, which went like gangbusters. So we basically are taking it on the road. So we'll be in Chicago at the Ravinia in April. We were just in Dallas for 3 days. We'll be at Wolf Trap. We'll be at Tanglewood with the Boston Pops. We've got several dates. And so we're just looking forward to doing that because we just have a blast. And I'm doing a play next year on Broadway, an Noel Coward gem called Fallen Angels with Rose Byrne. It's a well, it's not a two-hander. There's more in the cast, but it's these two ladies who go through a whole bunch of hijinks for the night, and It's all British floss, and it's wonderful. And so we're doing that next spring at the Roundabout. And other than that, I've got a television project that I'm doing next week that's very exciting, and I'm not sure if I can talk about it. But when it comes out, you'll know because it's a pretty cool one. And so I'm staying busy.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a huge Carol Burnett fan.
Yes, me too.
Oh, I got to interview her. We pulled our ears together.
Yes, we pull our ears in the show.
Oh, good. Yeah, so she has meant a lot to me, and I even have the doll signed by her and Bob Mackie.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow.
So I really had a great experience with her, and she wrote me a kind letter after an interview. I mean, I just can't say enough. So I need to come to that show. I love Sutton. She's really been nice. So
Yeah, we're having a great time together. I think it's July 13th. I think it's the gala evening at Ravinia, but we're going to do our whole symphony show.
very cool. Okay, so if there was a musical made about your life, who would you want to play you, and what would it be called?
Well, a musical, it should be me. No, but I mean, if we're going, we got to go back and get some of the earlier years. I don't know. Oh gosh, who should play it? All these wonderful, it's a hard thing because as musical theater shifts to really much more pop,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm so glad that the timing of my foray into this world was what it was because I don't think I'd be working now in the theater because even the Sopranos can just pop rock it out, when they turn around and do the other thing. So I don't know, that would be hard in a way. It would be hard to you know, who's out there that has some sort of old weird soul that was from the 40s. We got to find her because that was who I was. And as much as I felt like I didn't fit in at times, I felt grateful to find my place. I'd have to think about that.
Yeah.
But if it was a big star, anybody I think of is my age. I can't think of the younger people right now. Can you name somebody? I'll say yes. No, I
Mhm.
don't know.
I was
Oh,
thinking well, I was thinking of the Dolly Parton musical that she wanted Kristen to play her for so long, but it's hard to get these things made in a timely manner. So
it is. It is. I mean, and Kristen should be playing that. They're working on it right now, and I just hope that it does everything for Dolly that she does. I just love her so much, and her
Mhm.
story and the power in her and the beauty and generosity in her is so gorgeous, and I just want her story to be told the way she wants it to be told. That respects all that and all the good she's done. She's so modest that I worry sometimes that all that good won't get told because she didn't want to brag.
Yeah, yeah. That's when you know you're doing good work, when you don't have to push it so much and just kind of privately do that. So yeah. Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing you at the Steppenwolf and meeting you, Oklahoman to Oklahoman.
Yes, yeah. Well, I hope we get the word out. I want lots of people to come.
Yeah, and so we're gonna put you in the newspaper and get it out there, and it'll be a great. I mean, Steppenwolf always brings in great crowds. I've been to several of these kind of events like this, so it's gonna be great. Just the people that come in normally for their stuff, and then all musical theater fans just we'll be there for you. So,
Good. Well, I love it. I love Chicago. I can't wait to be back. So
yeah,
it's
okay, we
great.
will see you then, and I'll see you at the show.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, bye. Thank you so much for the interview. Okay.
Of course. Bye-bye.